Paryo.
What's up guys, my name is devinhuynh and welcome back to 11% Tutorials. Today we'll be going over how you guys can recreate this liquid rainbow color array effect. It's just a really cool effect that you can apply to your music videos just to add some color, flavor, and just overall pop to your videos. It makes your videos feel a lot more just energetic and fluid. Today we'll just be using After Effects to recreate this effect. There'll be no plugins, everything will just be in After Effects and Adobe. If you guys are new to this channel, please make sure that you like and subscribe. It's free, all this content is free, so it would really mean a lot if you guys could. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. All right guys, so now that we are finally into After Effects, what we're first gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we have our footage selected over here, and keep your clip to around 5 to 10 seconds long, because we are going to be using a lot of high processing requiring effects, rotoscoping, turbulence displace, some color grading, and it's just keep it short clip so that we don't have too much toll on your computer. What we're first going to do is we're going to select on our first layer, we're going to hit Command D to duplicate it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come here to this top layer. We are going to come to the display of the view of the composition. We're going to double click this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotoscope this. So make sure you select on your rotoscope tool over here. For those of you who are familiar with rotoscoping, then I'm pretty sure you have a pretty easy time doing this. But for those of you who don't know how to do this, what we're just gonna do is we're gonna grab this roto brush tool and we're just going to select our subject here. And you can see After Effects is going to draw this pink line around where it thinks you want to have your subject selected, and if it's messed up you can just go ahead and fix this. You can also hold Command or Control on PC and drag up and down to change the size of your roto brush tool. And then what we're going to do is once we have the first frame of our rotoscope selected, we're just going to drag through, and After Effects is going to start predicting where our subject is going to be. Now if there are a couple areas where it messes up and some areas are out of frame, I'm looking for a little segment like this right here, this little white part, I don't want that. So I'm gonna hold Option or Alt if you're on PC and just drag over that, and it'll be red, and then just gets rid of it. And then we're just gonna go through basically and rotoscope the entirety of our clip. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up. And perfect. So now that we have everything rotoscoped out, what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna hit this freeze button. And what this is basically gonna do is this is just gonna lock in all of the frames of the rotoscope. So it's just gonna make sure that for say whatsoever happens in editing later on, if there's any mess ups and you lose all your rotoscopes, everything is locked in and frozen. So I'll speed this up until it's done. Perfect. So now that we have everything rotoscoped and everything frozen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to this original composition. And now you can see if we unselect the visibility of the bottom layer, we have our entire subject rotoscoped out. Now, if you have some little extra white lining around the edge of your subject, we can go ahead and get rid of this by just dragging the shift edge and decreasing that to a value that's right to your footage. And it depends on your footage. Your footage is different from mine, my footage is different from yours. So just mess around with the setting of the shift edge and it should come out nice. So now that everything is rotoscoped, you can see we have our subject isolated from the background. What we're gonna do is we're just going to duplicate this rotoscope layer now, hit Command D again. So now you can see we have two layers of your subject rotoscoped out. And where all the effects are going to be applied is in this middle layer. So we could take off the visibility of this top layer and bottom layer for now as well too. So it just saves us rendering time. What we're first going to do is we're going to come over here to our effects and presets, and we are going to search up Turbulent Displace, and it should come up right here. So here we have Turbulent Displace, and we're just going to drag this to our middle layer. And now you can see everything's just looking really awful. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to the start. We're going to come to the start of this clip and we're going to drag this amount all the way down to 0. You just hit 0 and it just makes everything normal. What we're going to do is we are going to keyframe it right where the beginning of our clip wants to start. So I'm going to start it right here. It makes this bounce movement, and I want the effect to explode right there. Right around here, I'm going to hit a keyframe for 0. And then I'm going to move 5 or 10 frames after, and then I'm going to keyframe it a really high value. And now this is where the effects can come into play. So I'm dragging this up to 600, whatever. And then I'm going to change the size value of this to about 130-ish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keyframe this evolution. So I'm going to come all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to hit a keyframe of 0 at the evolution. And what the evolution basically is doing is just changing the value. So you can see, although our subject is moving, the blob and turbulence is just kind of staying in the same space. We're having these two bubbles in the same area regardless of where our subject is. So we kind of want that to change throughout the video. So we're just going to drag all the way to the end, and we're going to change this evolution value. And you could change it with this knob, and you can see now it's changing basically just where the turbulence displace is taking place. So now it adds this like randomness to it. So now you can see, once we play it, we have this like very rapid explode. And honestly, I don't really like the movement of that. It feels very linear and just like robotic. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to hit this drop down over here so we can see our keyframes better. Hit the drop down on effects and hit the drop down on turbulence displace. Now you can see where our keyframes are. So you can go ahead and mess around with these keyframes, to your liking, if they're too short, if they're too long. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna select both of them, hit this graph editor right here, and now everything's gonna look complicated. Don't worry, it's all good. What we're gonna do, basically, you're gonna see these two yellow lines or green lines or whatever color lines they're gonna be, and there's gonna be two knobs here. So we can hit plus to zoom in. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take both of these keyframes, we're gonna drag them down, and we're just gonna drag these anchor handles inward. And so we kind of get this like a little logistic mountain growth. And basically what that does, it just makes things feel a lot more like natural, I guess you could say. And like I said, play with it, have fun with it. If you don't like how the movement is portrayed, then just adjust the keyframe handles. I'm just gonna move forward with this so we don't spend too much time on here. You can hit the graph editor again to close this out so we just have normal keyframes now. And then minus, minus, minus to zoom out. And now you can see we kind of have this like explosion, and then these keyframes just turns it in. The evolution is just moving everywhere, and it kind of just looks very cool. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to our effects and presets over here, and we are going to search up Colorama. And now this is pretty much the main effect. It's a After Effects installed plugin, so we don't need anything else. We're gonna drag this right here to our middle layer again, and now you can see we got pretty much the basis of our effect. Everything looks very like heat radiant. I always think of it like a gun scope or something, or like, I don't know, when they like shoot people and there's like the heat things. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back here to our effects and presets. The Colorama effect, you honestly really don't even have to mess with any of the settings. Like this pretty much is the effect. I'm pretty sure there are ways to change, like if you don't want it to be too green, if you rather have this to be blue or some of these to be red, I think you come over here and change this output cycle and then just adjust the colors of where you want them to be. And then, that just helps give you more creative control. We're gonna come back here to our effects and presets, and we're gonna type in glow. Now, I know you guys been telling me to get glow sapphire, but like, dude, I don't have like 500. I don't even know how much it is, but it's a lot. But like I said, everything in this effect video is in After Effects, and we can do everything in After Effects. So I'm gonna use this glow. Now we're gonna take this glow, drag it to our middle layer, of course, and now you can see everything's becoming just like really like faded and kind of blurry looking. But what this is gonna do is just adding glow to it. So we can increase the glow radius to this to make it feel a little bit more glowy, I guess you could say. And this glow threshold basically controls how much of the footage or subject is glowing and not. So 60, 70 honestly works. It's up to your footage. The intensity obviously increases how much the glow is going to be intense and how much of it is not. And now you can see we got this like really cool looking footage right here. Now what we can do is we can bring back our background layer, we can bring back our foreground layer, and you can see we kind of got these like cool effects going on. You can see in the beginning over here, our footage is like, our subject is glowing. So honestly, we don't need neither the top rotoscope layer or the middle rotoscope layer until the effect takes place. We can come over here, we can select both of these, hold shift and select both layers, and then just drag them and hold shift to snap it directly to your pointer. Now, if you don't like how the glow just starts immediately, we can come over here, obviously to the middle layer, and keyframe the glow radius to about 0, and then to this normal rate that we have it right here. So I'm gonna come in like 10 frames in, and then we're gonna come over here to this glow radius, keyframe it, come to the beginning, and just drag this glow radius down to 0. So now you can see we have our effect and the glow increases as the explosion increases. Now, as you can see, we kind of have a cool effect going on right here. And the reason why I like this one is just because there's so much like variety and versatility that you can do with this. So you can change, like the Turbulent Displacement has so many settings that you can change. It's like the size, the complexity, the evolution, like it changes so much stuff. Like this complexity over here, we can increase this over here, get some more bubbles if you do this. And it's just a fun effect. Another additional thing you could do if you don't like this colorama like rainbow effect, you can even use a tint. So we can come over here to our glow and presets and type in tint. And I'm gonna come over here basically and just kind of delete this colorama just for now. I'm gonna drag this tint in right here. And you can see it just made everything black and white, but I'm just gonna change these values to like purple over here. It's like a decent amount. And then, like I said, you can just have fun with this. So now we can have like a purple explosion and everything just looks really trippy and cool. Lastly, what I'm gonna do is, it's that time again, overlay time. We can't have 11% tutorial without overlays. So I have CRT footage right here. This is just like an overlay. I used this one before in my tutorials. I'm gonna link to it below again in Google Drive if you want this one. But if not, you can just download any YouTube CRT overlays. They all work perfectly. I'm gonna come over here, drag this right to the beginning of our clip. You can see everything just turned black. I'm just gonna change this mode to add. And then we kind of got these, cool CRT just going on the background. It just kind of adds to this effect. And so that pretty much wraps up our effect. So whether you prefer the tint or the colorama effect, have fun with it. Make this effect your own. Don't copy this tutorial down to the nitty-gritty details. And here is the final results. If you guys made it to the end of the video, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope at the end of this, you guys can walk away with an effect that you can use and apply for your future music videos and projects. If you have any questions or any ideas or suggestions that you'd like to see from us in the future, please remember to leave a comment down below. Remember to like the video and subscribe to 11% if you haven't yet. Also remember to follow us on Instagram for content and like. Thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.